Thank you both for being here today. You have an extraordinary film, My Endo, which I played the trailer watching with my mom. And my mom has gone through my endo journey with me. And we both got goosebumps and fought back tears because it resonated on a very soul level, but also a physical level, seeing the pain you went through, Ellen. Why was this film something you were pulled to make? It almost felt like there was no choice for you. You had to document this for the world to see your agony.
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually when I first was diagnosed with the disease, I didn't know so many people or women were having this. And I was looking on the internet and I saw 1 in 10, sometimes 1 in 8. And I told Thomas, we're documentary filmmakers. We should make a documentary about it because nobody knows about it. There's no cure. We have no cause. They don't know how we get it. So, and it's so an awful disease in life quality. And that was indeed my main reason why I wanted to film it and document it, because just by talking about it is not enough, apparently, because a lot of women were talking about it in forums, in blogs, but I didn't find a very good documentary that really showed what the disease is about. And that's why I wanted to make this documentary, and we did it. It took us 5 years, but we finally got there.
Yeah, and I mean, at first it took a little bit of time for you to convince me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, as a documentarian, like making something about yourself is always a little tricky to keep that objective look on the story. But then Ellen kind of said to me, like, if the only thing we have to do is like turn the camera on ourselves for a while and film the thing we're going to go through anyway, and with that help, like a lot of young women and girls, and partners of young women and girls, and like you say, mothers of these people who have endometriosis, then it's totally worth it. And that was then it became kind of a no-brainer, and we kind of went at it totally.
And that became our main motivation to keep going, to help others.
Yeah.
So they are diagnosed a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas, it's interesting because you look at it through a different lens than obviously Ellen. Ellen's going through it. She's feeling it. She's experiencing it. But what has it been like on and off the camera for you to see someone you love so much suffering like this from this disease?
It's awful. It's the hardest thing I've not only the hardest thing I've filmed, and I've filmed like poverty and drought and famine and war, and this was by far the hardest thing I filmed because it's just so close to me. And I think the one word that kept coming back to my mind was like the feeling of helplessness, because there's just this, like, I mean, in the documentary we depicted it as a monster, a little wormy kind of monster that kept coming in between, Ellen and my relationship. On all the levels of the relationship, be it emotionally or sexually, or it just hit us in every kind of way. But also between, I noticed it got between kind of Ellen and a normal life. And it was constantly there. And there was a long time I fought it, and I was frustrated about it. And I told Ellen as well, like, I was there to support her through mostly like kind of the pain and just to get her through the worst days and to help her out with just all the practical stuff. But there were also days when I said to Ellen, like, I'm mad, and I'm not like mad at you. It's just I'm frustrated and I'm mad at this thing that I can't touch, or I can't do anything about it. It's just frustrating. And it was actually a friend of ours who said to us at a certain point, like, you got to stop fighting it or thinking that it's going to be over at some point. You need to carry this like a backpack. and learn to bring it with you, because it's your baggage and it's chronic. So you got to figure out a way to have this with you, like to deal with this thing. And that shifted my mindset, but I think also Ellen's mindset at that point. And like, this is chronic. This is not a one-time thing. You know, it's not going to be fixed.
Without delving too much into your personal dynamics, but early on when you first dating in the relationship, how did you even say like, oh, hey, I have endometriosis? Because I've been in that situation in relationships, and they're like, endo, what is that? What do you mean? Is it contagious? You're like, oh my God. And it's such a vulnerable thing to talk about, because it affects, like you said, it's super intimate. It interrupts your sexual life. You don't want someone, especially a new relationship, to see you in pain like that. There's just a lot of, it's multifaceted, it's multi-layered. How did you approach that?
Well, when we first started dating, I didn't know I had it. It was only 7 months in a relationship that I got the diagnosis. But we early on knew in our relationship that this was it for us. So his reaction was pretty good. You were very concerned, and you didn't ask me weird questions. You were like, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, it was strange at the start, because like you would ask me to not be there when you would be on your period.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, this is something I have really bad period, so you just don't be here when it happens. And
because I was so sick, and you couldn't do anything. So I was like, you can, just party with your brother or go out with friends, because I can't do anything for like 3 to 5 days. So it wasn't very good for you to be around me, because I was just watching Netflix and on opiates and sleeping and going through the pain. So yeah. That was weird for you, but
it was. I didn't really question it, because I was just like, I'm going to respect her wish to have distance at that point.
Right.
But I very vividly remember the first time I saw Ellen going through it, and that was shocking, because she was literally rolling on the floor in pain, and using more opiates than the doctor had prescribed. And it was just like that was kind of when I started to realize, this is normal. This is not, like, even though the doctors say it's normal, there's no way this.
No, it's so far from normal. And I think that for a long time, people have been told that women are supposed to go through painful cramps and have heavy bleeding, and it's just what it is. It's part of being a woman. Well, now I think with films like yours bringing attention and more awareness and advocacy work to say, like, no, you should not be on the floor for 3 to 5 days writhing in pain every single month and think that's how you're supposed to live the rest of eternity. What I thought was interesting too is the cultural kind of response to endometriosis, because here in the United States, it's 1 in 10 women of reproductive age are diagnosed. Globally, it's close to 200 million. And yet, like you said, there's no cure. And it goes back to, no matter how advanced a country is, women's reproductive health is not the priority it needs to be, especially a disease like endometriosis. What has been the response since this film has been slowly kind of trickling out? What's been the response to you talking about this topic?
Well, we've got a lot of good responses, actually.
It's been wild. Like right after, because the thing is that initially we planned to launch in March on the Endo Awareness Month of 2020, but then there was a conflicting communications thing on the health front that happened, namely COVID. And so we had to kind of shift our strategy. But then we kind of put it out and got a lot of attention. Ellen was on the news live,
national news,
on the national news,
and I think every paper wrote about it.
Every Flemish paper.
Flemish paper, because we have the Dutch and the French part in our country. No, but it's been really good. A lot of young women came to me and they were like, I didn't know what kind of this, what is this? I don't know what endometriosis is. I think a few of my friends have it because they have the same symptoms. So I think we did help a lot of people getting the right help or asking the right questions, because we asked the specialist center in Leuven, the clinic where I went to, the hospital.
Which is the only one in Flanders that's like an actual dedicated endometriosis center.
And they got 70 more patients. How do you say that?
They had since the documentary was released, the patient intake was multiplied by 10.
Yeah.
So they had a huge increase. They loved us and hated us at the same time, because it was like right when also the second corona wave hit and they had to cancel all these surgeries. That was exactly when they started getting like 10 times as many patients. So it was like a little bit of a weird situation there, but it, like, to us, it was a very clear signal that there were so many women who kind of realized, like, this is not normal. What I've been told for so long is not normal, and I'm going to go look for help. And
even our general practitioner told us, like, we got a lot more patients asking about it because of the documentary. So yeah, in that sense, it was really, really good.
We had the Minister of Health is also, they responded. They've taken all the information we've given them, and they've said, like, look, we're going to do the corona stuff first. But they've promised us to sit back with them once the numbers have gone down of our kind of second wave, to discuss the strategy of, like, how we're going to, like, what we can do and which models we can kind of follow, like the Danish model, or like how we can, get the word out there even more.
And give the right information to young teenagers, because I think that's the easiest way to start. Go to schools and give information to 14, 15-year-old girls.
Right, the onset of their menstrual cycles.
And that's a good start, and then we'll go from there. But that is something so easy they can implement, like, next year, like next school year. So we're focusing on a few points with the Minister of Health to get it rolling very quickly. But also, I got a few emails from schools who said, we are already doing this, giving information to young girls in our classes about endometriosis. And I was like, that's amazing. But that's because one of the teachers has endometriosis, and she knows, like, this is important. I have to, like, educate these young girls so they get help very quickly. So that was really good, and I was really happy about it to hear it.
It was like I thought, like, we had a lot of, like, positive reactions of people saying, okay, we're gonna help get the word out there. There were, like, we had this kind of army of endo sisters pushing the story and on all the media, that, because we had a couple of very targeted, like, magazines that are mainly, their target audience is women and young women, and, like, they did big spreads on the film and, like, got all the information out. And but then, like, we got a few messages that kind of broke our heart at the same time too, of these older couples, maybe in their 60s or 70s, who were saying to us, like, we saw the film, your story is our story, but we never got any help, and we couldn't talk about this to anyone. We didn't have kids. And so that was like on the one hand, we realized, like, what we were doing is like an important message to get out there, but at the same time, it was, like, very much being hit by the reality of we have quite a bit of work to do.
And I think it takes, like, a huge village from every continent at this point to be raising awareness, so that we can implement, like you said, a curriculum, and hopefully there will be enough doctors who are specialized in the practice of endometriosis, so they can recognize it, or at least if they can't treat it themselves, send young patients or any patients of any age to the right doctors to get the proper surgery and treatment. Because that's another issue too, is a lot of times you go to doctors who are not specialized, they don't know what it is, and they kind of go, oh, well, I can't figure it out, so you have to just keep on keeping on. And that's very hard. And that's going on here in the States. And I know it goes on where you are, and definitely, and even more underdeveloped countries outside of, we're also privileged to live where we live. But even in some, we were dealing with some in Kenya, and they don't have the doctors to treat the disease. So with your film, I feel like this is something everyone can watch, whether they're at home social distancing, and they can learn more about it. And like Thomas, you come at a very different perspective as somebody who is in a marriage, a relationship with someone who has it. And I think that's eye-opening, because I have people in my life who said, well, how do I support you? How do I help you through this? Because I don't understand how. So I think your journey gives an empathy and a compassion to the person that has endo, and also a compassion to the person who loves the person with endo. And I found your story, as painful as it was, it's a beautiful, beautiful relationship that you have, and support that you give one another. So you're welcome. And I'm happy that we're all in this together. I'm not happy we have it, but I'm happy that we're all in this together and we're fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
So, I hope we'll continue up this. I want to hear what goes on with the Minister of Health, and you'll keep us up to date on all the advancements that you guys are making.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, definitely. And I think that was kind of the key that you touched on there, is that the film is really like, we didn't set out to like tell like a scientific explanation of what is endometriosis. That's also a part of the film, but it is about our relationship. It is like us trying to fight this thing together, and like really kind of supporting each other in that sense. And I think that's the way, like, not only people who have gone through this, but also people who have, like, so many people have gone through illness and have to support each other in that kind of a time. And I think that's just really relatable to the human experience generally.
No, it is. Absolutely.
But we're looking to really kind of spread awareness also. Like, we're talking to the Netherlands, and we're talking to some people in the States, and we're really trying to, the year has become much weirder than it initially planned. We're going to do the film festival circuit, but now we've had to kind of switch our strategy around a little bit.
Virtually. Well, congrats on the film, and I definitely love to speak with you guys in the near future.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ellen, Thomas.
Bye.